Perfect. Everyone's looking good, looking good, looking good. Now I'm going to show you literally every single step because everybody loves the literally every single step videos. So we have a dry canvas, right? Nothing on this canvas at all so far. Let me tell you everything I've done so far. It's a 20-inch by 24-inch, so a little bit bigger on our normal size canvas. We took our black gesso, covered this whole area, peeled off the tape, and then made a little rudimentary background, mountain, hill, sort of whatever shape, okay? Now, after it's all dry and ready, we've come time to use our oil paints. So we'll take our Bob Ross liquid clear. We're going to cover the black section in the liquid clear. All it is a clear, runny paint, right? Even though it's going to make our canvas look black, it's not a black paint. It's a clear paint, which is basically kind of putting a varnish on the black canvas and making it wet, and therefore it will look much darker than its original dry form, right? That's all we really need to do. So we'll take our paint and we'll mush it and smush it and spread it all over the canvas. We're going to get a little bit more. Sometimes you don't have enough. Sometimes you have too much. And when you have too much, it's a big problem, okay? So don't put too much on the canvas. Get a little bit out there, spread it around about as much as you can possibly can, as thinly as possible, and we'll get it out here, and we'll mix it up, and that's it. The more that we mix it up, the more evenly it's going to spread, and then it will not be sticky anymore. When you very first put it on, it's very sticky, right? And as you work it and work it and work it, it becomes less and less and less and less and less sticky, because we're spreading it out completely around. And now we've got this very slippery little surface to work on, right? Now we'll put our liquid clear away. You guys gotta do one thing. You just gotta check in and tell me where you're watching from. That's it. Where are you watching from? From around the world. We're gonna take our liquid white, same thing, kind of deposit it in a little X pattern, and then we're gonna work the liquid white together and let it spread across the white portion of our canvas without letting it get into the dark section of our canvas, right? We get a really cool little fun one. Now watch, the more you bring it down into that darker color, the more it's gonna make those little hills look further away into the distance. Right? We do not want to get any in our ocean back here at all. You want the dark canvas to be dark. That's why we painted it black and let it dry so it would remain dark as long as we don't put too much light color paint into it, right? So once we get this thing all ready to go and then our canvas is nice and wet, which I usually do off screen because it's a little boring, don't you think? Just watching the same color paint go on to the same color canvas. Not very exciting, but a lot of people do ask and they want to know every step. How'd you do this? How'd you prep this? How'd you do that? So we like to show you every single step. And it's going to be a lot of fun. Just a lot of fun out there tonight. Always take your liquid white and kind of move it into the center of the lid and then put the lid on, and that way it doesn't overflow down the lid, get all over the side of your jar. Just little things you can learn how to do, okay? Now, we're gonna take a piece of paper towel, just like this, a little old paper towel, hold it in between our hands. We're gonna wipe off all the black section with a lot of force, right? Trying to remove any excess paint that is on the canvas, all that excess clear we don't need to have, okay? Now we're gonna need to get a couple colors out. So we need our blue, crimson, black, brown, yellow ochre, and purple. Let's get them all out. Actually, do we really need the purple color? Probably not. Probably not. We can get away without having purple. So let's get our ultramarine blue. This is from the Meaden set. It's just like that, ultramarine. It's very much like phthalo blue, so if you have phthalo blue, you can use that as well. All right, we'll get our crimson color paint, Bob Ross crimson, alizarin crimson, right? Very funky word to say. We're starting to run out already, dudes. I'm telling you, be careful when you kink these things because they do like to spit out paint. It'll get all over your hands. It's a bad deal. We're going to use our Gamblin 1980 black because I had to buy a tube of this when I was waiting on my Bob Ross black to come in. So we've got our ivory black from my Gamblin 1980 set. Obviously need our titanium white. We're going to use our two brown colors, which are the Van Dyke brown is the darker one, and the dark Sienna brown, which is the lighter one. Don't ask why. Don't ask why they named the darker one a different color and the lighter one dark Sienna. It just doesn't, I don't know, it hurts my brain to think about it, so I'm not going to think about it too much. I'm not going to think about it too much. So, brown, brown, yellow. That's 3. There you go, Josh. Learn to count. Brown, brown, yellow, blue, crimson, black, white. 7 colors, all we're going to need. Let's do it. I'm gonna need to get some more titanium white. Didn't I get some? Did I not? Did I not? Oh, I did. Okay. I was gonna say, we'll be switching to the Gamblin 1980 paint after this Bob Ross paint is done, because there's barely any left in this little tube. I knew I got that white paint. I knew it. I knew it, you guys. There. We don't need much. You guys know me. I always put on way too much on my palette. So, one more time, since I didn't get a chance to check the comments section, just tell me where you're watching from right now and what your favorite sandwich is. And my OCD butt is going to clean off my gloves, literally. Don't ask. But tell me where you're watching from right now. We'll see. Where's everybody checking in from? We got the UK, Alaska, Florida, Liverpool, we got San Antonio, watching from Yemen, South Carolina, Florida, Texas, Mississippi, Arkansas, Virginia, Pennsylvania, Missouri, Livingston, Utah. You guys are looking good. South Carolina over on the tube. Oklahoma on the tube, watching from Norway, Kansas, Illinois, Louisiana, South Carolina, Melbourne, Australia over there on Facebook. You guys are amazing. Literally amazing. England, New Jersey, you're all over the place, guys. You are literally watching. I'm a worldwide artist, world-renowned paint. I'm just some regular dude, don't worry about it. We're gonna come over here, we're gonna take our phthalo blue or ultramarine blue. Not too dark of a blue, and because our canvas is already wet with that Bob Ross liquid white, you can see it. We can show every camera, see if we can. See the dimples in the glove there? Dimple, dimple. Oh, all the way over there on Facebook, dimple. Got 3 different devices streaming 3 different shows, all the same show, from 3 different places. That's how we like to rock and roll. Now, the more that we spread this paint, the more it's going to grow across our canvas and kind of overtake all that white, right? We're on a white canvas, at least on the top part, so we need to cover the entire bit of sky. Let's leave a big old section of white, though, just to have some cool clouds out there. If you don't put the dark paint on there, your clouds will stay bright or white, all right, by the time that you go to do them. Have you ever been doing clouds before? And all of a sudden they just turn blue. As soon as you start mixing them, they turn blue out there. You probably didn't leave a white patch, and you probably have too much blue paint out on the canvas, right? Now, we're not going to worry about blending out our sky until we go wash off the brush. So in the meantime, let's grab a little touch of that ivory black, which is a much stronger black color. Put it over here. There. There. Drop it underneath that light color area, and then when we go blend it out, it's going to grow this way, it's going to grow that way, it's going to overtake, while all the blue is going to overtake from this side. So if you put on too much to begin with, don't I always tell you? Little at a time. We can always add more. You can't take it away once it's up there. Don't I just tell you all the time? Are you just not listening anymore? Do I have any students or viewers that actually listen to what we say anymore? No, it's fine. It's fine. Forget about it. Don't worry about it. It's all good. Don't worry. It's all good. Okay, let's get out here with our clean dry brush into the white portion of the canvas first, the untouched area. It's got that liquid white paint on it, right? We don't need to have any other paint on the brush. We've got it all up here already. And if you know the 3 P's of Paint with Josh, which is my good self, hi there, welcome, nice to see you. Thanks for being here and checking us out, right? But the 3 P's of Paint with Josh are overtaking the painting world, let me tell you very much. Very much. And there are 3 things, right, that you can do, whether you paint oils, acrylics, landscapes, portraits, pets, whatever. It doesn't matter. Rocks. It does not matter what you paint. The 3 P's of Paint with Josh are going to help you out, okay? And I'm going to tell you what they are if nobody can guess them in the comments below. And all we're doing is crisscrossing, allowing our white section to sort of disappear. It's going to be overtaken with all of those paints, right? But the whole reason we left it unpainted initially is because now there's less paint right there where there wasn't any to begin with. We didn't add any excess color. We didn't do anything. We haven't made it any thicker. So it's very much as thin as it was to start, since we didn't have anything there. And the more we blend this guy across, the more and more everything starts looking the same. So you're gonna decide what you want it to look like, and then you're gonna stop when you want it to look a certain way, right? We're gonna come out here, we're gonna grab our titanium white. You got to add the white into that, the enunciation of that, right? Load up a ton of paint. We're talking about a chunk, literally trying to scoop it off of the pile and then get out here, and you guys know me, we love making a big old mess. As long as we have a bit of darkness underneath, a bit of light out there, and then you kind of cut through them, just mushing and pushing, just like a caveman would paint a cloud. Just here and there and everywhere. Throw it up into the sky, right? Our brush now has been tainted with all that sky color, so let's load it back up with the same amount, another giant amount of white paint, drop down a little bit, and then let's load in another section, right? Leaving a good gap in between, and at least about an inch worth of space in order for you to grab with your brush and spin it, okay? I'm going to show you, we do literally everything for a reason, and on these literally every single step videos, let's get our sky to come down just a little more. There, right on top. Nice and light color. Ooh, I like it. Okay. In these literally every single step videos, you can see we're showing you with counterclockwise circles or clockwise circles out on the end of the brush, not down here, right? You want to see if I can throw it and catch it at the same time. Oh, it didn't work. It went way too far. So in any case, I'm not a magician, I'm a painter, okay? But in any case, whichever way you want to do it, just have it be limp like a little noodle, right? Out there, mixing it up. Because the more pressure that you give it down here along the bottom, the more it's going to blend away. The less pressure that you're touching it along the top, the more bright white it's going to stay. So you get to decide how much, where the dark areas are, how bright, how this, how blended out, how firm, how soft. All up to you. Look like a cool little cloud out there. Just literally a little mess, because you don't have to focus too much on it. It doesn't have to be this perfect thing. You can literally throw something out there and have it look cool. Legit cool, right? Now, let's go wash off both these brushes because we're going to need our dark color onto the brush in order to lay in our ocean. Right? We've got wet paint down there, but we don't have any color. All it is that wet base coat. That's not going to work for us. That's not going to work if we try to do that. Okay. Let's see what we're going to do out here today, guys. Clean off the old brush, put the lid back on, and now it's just too light. I'll get a little bit more of my paint from up here and just there. Just work it down, and if I have to, work some of it down into the blue area, that's okay, or my black area, that's okay. A little bit more blue on my brush, because now it's irritating me, so I work it up towards the cloud, and then down there. Perfect. I want to leave a very light bit. Very light, but not too big of one. So you can do that. Just change little things just right on the fly. Right on the Marty McFly. Okay, let's get over here with our blue. Pull it down like that, right? A lot of paint. And you don't want to put on too much, right? So don't go straight up into the pile and try to drag it all. A little bit of black as well. We want the background ocean to be darker than the front. So we're going to come out here with our blue and black. And as we put it on, we can watch our horizon appear and go very dark again. Right up to the top, right? Little triangle of color. Now what do I mean by a triangle of color? It's a little thicker over here, and then it gets to a thinner and thinner and thinner point as it gets out this way. That's it. Very hard to see, right? But all of a sudden now we've got some foggy little hills out in the distance, maybe being overtaken by a cloud, and then we'll have our water cut in front of that guy. Okay, so right underneath our little friend over here, okay, we're gonna wipe off, or at least dab off our brush so we don't have so much black onto it. Maybe clean it. Be a good idea to clean the brush if there's too much paint on it. Clean that guy off. We'll go back, grab a little bit of blue. Gonna look fantastic, everybody. Dude, should we use? Oh, I didn't list it in the colors, but should we use some phthalo green? Yes. Let's use some phthalo green. Okay, we'll take our phthalo green, which is like a sea green color. I know my backwater is gonna be back here, right? We need it crashing like right there, though. I'll take my phthalo green, almost right in the center of the canvas, on a little smiley face up. Just like that. Fill in that spot. That's going to be where my wave is going to roll over and crash against these big rocks that are going to stand out there, right? So everywhere else, we're going to go back to the blue right on top of the brush. Okay? Come down underneath that guy. Just like that. Connect it up here to that blue and black color. Over here so we can have some water crashing down, and we're just literally scrubbing it on because we're going to come back and ignite it with the white, right? The white is going to show everything. It's going to ignite all those colors and activate them underneath our canvas, right? So it's going to be the whole fun part about it. Now, we're going to go one more time over the sky so it kind of softens any bit of brush stroke that tried to creep up above your horizon, which sometimes tends to happen, but we have a procedure in mind for that, right? Now, since we've got our colors out there in about as big a patch as my hand is, right there, right? So if we're measuring it out, the first, 1, 2.5, so about 5 inches down from our horizon. Never has to be perfect, and here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna pull out our titanium white. You guys are gonna check in. You're just gonna tell me where you're watching from around the world. That's it. Just where are you from, and that's it, right? Where are you from out there? Type it in. Thank you, No Moozy. Appreciate you. What are we painting? We're gonna be painting a seascape with giant rocks, like just at least one big one about the size of my hand right here, about the same shape, and then another bigger one that's going to sit down in the front where all of our little smaller crashing waves are going to be. So we can decide, maybe we move it out to about there. And it all depends on where we go, where we have our colors and all that stuff. And in fact, if I wanted to move it, right, that means I'm going to have to take my phthalo green and lay it heavier back there. There, that's where I want it, right there. So a little heavier phthalo green in that spot, and then we'll show you how to ignite it all, and it's going to be fantastic, right? We're going to come over here, start on the outside of the pile, cut across it. You get yourself a little roll of paint out on the end. And now, we're going to want to, again, make another small little triangle, right? So we start with our point out here, right at the horizon where we want it, okay? A little bit. And then as we go, we're going to get lower and push harder and get lower and push harder and harder and harder to deposit that paint off of our palette tool, right? Come back here, load it up again. So we've got a whole nother deal. Now we're going to start scraping literally horizontally, right? Back and forth, horizontal. A little bit lower each time, but going horizontal, horizontal, horizontal. You don't have to go all the way to the back of the horizon. It doesn't have to be pure white back there. If you can leave, just like that, one little bit of a dark line back there. You got all those little white caps and little things that are kind of crashing and rolling and blowing in the wind. Okay? Now, you can see our little triangle. It's a little thicker on this side to a point where it stops. Okay? We're going to do one more. And this is what I want to try to start. This is going to be the first Seascape tutorial where we're really going to focus on angles and starting points. Okay? Because I figured something out. I unlocked a new way to teach it yesterday when I was doing my virtual class. We unlocked something, okay? So it's gonna be wicked cool. And here's the unlock part, right? Wherever it starts, wherever this guy ends down here, we need to be on a flat line, flat, way out there. That's gonna be the new spot of our starting point, right? And then again, we're gonna get lower and lower and lower and lower as we go down, okay? Each time. That way, you're gonna keep the same distance in between here. It's gonna get a little bigger, obviously, as we get closer to us. But this point and this point are going to be on a straight level. And we're going to show you that throughout the entire painting today, okay? If we can do it well enough. Now, let's come over here again, scrape up a little bit. We only need a touch of color, a little touch of destiny. Right? A little bit. If we add too much color to our back water area back here, it's going to bring it too close. And if it gets too close, we're going to notice it too much. If we notice it too much, nobody wants to do that. We're trying to paint it off in the distance for a reason, right? Meaning we don't need to have too many bits of bright or too many bits of dark. Nothing out there has to be exactly the same in order for it to start looking like water. Now, as we come up here, right, our angle is going to change a little bit. So let's get down, down, down. So I'm just making it bigger just by kind of skirting it down a little bit more. And we want it like that so it flows along this way, on this way up. It has to go up and cut through your horizon. In which case we're going to leave about a 1 inch or 2 finger gap in between the point of the wave. Turn our blade over this way, get higher up there, right? And then very lightly, very lightly, very lightly. 2 or 3 things, right? Very small bit of paint. Nothing out there has to be giant because we're going to miss. All this is going to disappear, right? And it's going to be connected. I never do this, but just to show you, that's what the connection line is. We're flowing up our line this way. We don't have to add this bit of paint right here in that little space because it's going to get covered, right? But just so you can see it, it's going to roll up and then we're going to go very light and then focus on the top angle right here, right? So if you're looking at the blade, this is a very flat edge like a table, right? That would be very flat. We have to angle it so our handle gets kicked out to the side. We have to have enough paint onto the blade. And then we're going to touch and very lightly go down to the bottom left corner of the canvas. Right down there. Not straight down here. Cast it. Throw it. It has to be thrown that way. Okay, again, a little bit more paint. Now that we've come down on this angle, we're going to turn it. We're going to go here, and we'll go very lightly, and then start getting more and more and more and more and more to the side. Right? So now you have this kind of a check mark or a bird shape, like a caw. All right. The bigger you let this guy get, the more it's going to grow. Right? It's going to overtake our sandy beach. So let's not let him get too giant. Okay. Now, let's light up our eye underneath that little guy by taking our fan brush that we used to mix up our clouds. I never washed it. We're just going to get a little bit more of our white paint onto it. We're going to leave about 1 finger's worth of space between the eye and the top water. You can even use your little pinky, right? Your smallest finger. Just a little bit. And then again, about 2 fingers worth of space in between the eye and the wave over here. So if we make a little circle, kind of like that, okay? And then we make a little thing out this way. A little patch, a little swimmer, whatever you want to call it. That's pretty much it. Right? There's a good gap in between here. There's a bigger gap over here. And remember, you might have to do it twice because we may not put enough white paint up there at first. Right? So we start to mix it and watch it grow. It's going to want to grow and get closer and closer and closer up to the top of that wave. It's going to want to grow over this way. It's going to want to grow down to the side, up, everywhere. Right? We get to decide, do I look at it and I stand back and I go, oh, you know what? I want that to be a bit brighter. So let's add a little bit more paint. Let's get it up in here. Yeah. All right, now we'll have a lighter spot on the top and a darker spot on the bottom because the paint's gonna grow and mix. And you can also turn your brush like this. Get it right up underneath. Right underneath that little thing. I'm telling you, you want it there. You want that little bit of dark space. Don't let them touch. I'm just being honest. Don't do it. Okay, here we go. This is going to be the fun part where we're going to use our liquid white. We're going to make our water splash. And then remember, no matter how much you like your wave, we're putting a rock right there. Like it's going to hit and go against the backside of this rock, okay? So you decide how big you want to make it, how this, how that, how whatever, right? This one is available if you go check out my site. It's over there. The mods are telling you how to get there, all right? See what you guys are doing on the tube over here. On the tube. It's some happy little trees. Maybe not out in the ocean, but yeah, I feel you. I feel you. We're going to figure it out as we get closer, right? Excellent, excellent, excellent. Thanks, Greg. Appreciate it. Hi from Turkey. That's amazing. Okay, now we need a little bit more of our liquid white. So what I'm going to do is get that out and put it into a little dish, and which is basically like an old liquid white jar. I don't need to have too much, because I only really need it for a couple little highlights and stuff, right? So we don't want to go mad crazy with the liquid white, but I'll show you. It's very runny. Look, it wants to, whoop, it's going to drip and fall out of my whole little tin right here. So all I ever do is keep the old lid from an old liquid white jar and then use that to hold the liquid white I want to use. Therefore, I don't have to dunk a brush full of color like this. I had this brush full of color and I just wanted to get some liquid white on it. I'm not going to go dunk it into my brand new fresh jar. Right? I'm going to dunk it into this little thing that I know is going to get tainted with color anyway. So we've got our liquid white. It's very runny, very wet paint. You can even see its shininess. We're going to mix that with our titanium white. Right in there, a little bit. All we're trying to do is change the consistency of the titanium white. Now we're going to run along the edge of this guy right on the top, and you can even just touch it. Just right on the top line, keeping our separation in between. As we get over here, we start to turn the brush. Get up, bang, right at the top, okay? Once you've crisscrossed the top, which will again push your little fuzzy mountains back into the distance. Now we're gonna come down here, filling up that 1-inch gap between the eye and the wave, covering, if anything, this part of the wave, right? The top section, which I told you don't need to paint anyway because we're gonna cover it, right? I keep telling you guys these things, and you're not listening. A little bit more of our liquid white just so it stays runny. It's got to stay runny. It's got to look like water as we come down here and we smack up into the sky. Right? How much do you want it to crash? How big is your rock going to be? Because it better be big enough, your splash anyway, better be big enough to make sense why a rock is going to be right there, okay? Now, main goal of our splashiness is exactly what I was telling you before. If we did it correctly, are we going to have a straight line between this and the bottom, or at least the highest point, of this guy back here? So we're missing one little spot of white, but that's okay. But you can see from this point to this point, right? Just like we had from that point to this point, another straight line right there. Right? From the end of the triangle to where our other line of our triangle had started. And we're going to continue to do this, okay? I'm going to continue to show you that it's a literal straight line across all the way to right here. Meaning this has to come down at an angle like that, and then just like this angle, right? So same angle here, same angle there, same angle on our sand, and we're going to be in good shape, okay? This will be the best seascape you've ever painted, just because we're going to be focusing on keeping these on the same line, right? Meaning our whole thing is tilted as the water is flowing up onto the sand, okay? Trust the process. I'm going to come over here, we're going to mix up this bit first. I want to push it and move it, right? It's background. It's a little bit of in the background. We don't need too much of it. This stuff we want to be very light with, very light, very light. We're going to go back and do it again too. You always got to come back and do it a second time, but you mix it up and you mix it up and you mix it up. Man, doesn't that look like water? Coming down and crashing down. Crashing down, you guys. Not really, right? So let's go do it again. Let's go do it again with a little bit more paint. We'll come down here, start smacking on it again. Remember, we don't want to have it be too bright or too noticeable, but we need there to be some differences in there. So again, low point, straight over here, another straight, perfect line. This doesn't have to be perfect, of course. I'm gonna here mix it up even worse this time, like less. Don't even touch it as much as we did the first time. Bang, just like so, guys. Now, let's mix up a whole big chunk of our black, our crimson, our blue. Throw that guy down in there. Throw some of our dark sienna and our Van Dyke brown. I grabbed them out opposite to what they are, but whatever. Both the brown colors in with the three plaque colors that make up our Paint with Josh plaque. Now we're making Paint with Josh brack, right? Just a brown version of this purplish blackish color. I want the two brown colors inside the darkness, so when I highlight them with a brown color, it stays brighter than it was before. Right? There's a lot of back ocean in this. We may need to launch down one more little bit of wave or breaking section or something. We'll figure it out by the time I get there. So we're going to take this guy, we're going to mush it down, right? Cut a giant section out of it. So literally remove what's on the palette, stick it to the blade, and you got to have a lot. And here we go. Let's launch it right up into there. Bang! All right, you're covering over little bits of that splash that's now making sense why it's splashing up into the sky, because we have this enormous rock right here. Right? This old rock is just down there for the count. And you can see how brown it is already because it's mixing in with that liquid white stuff. So let's come back here and just lay it on a lot heavier. There. That darker side. And then we'll come back. We're going to mix up a little bit of our yellow ochre color and a little bit of our dark sienna brown. So the lighter color brown and the yellow ochre. And mix it and mix it and mix it until it's almost brighter than you want it to be, because it's going to dull itself down as soon as we start coming up here and touching. Right? It's going to get dull pretty quickly. And then it's going to dry more dull as well. And so if you have too much paint on there, or not a bright enough color, you're just not going to like it. Trust me, I've done it before. I've made them too dark and then gone back and been like, man, where'd all my details go? I swear they were brighter than that when I started, you know what I mean? And then they end up disappearing, and that's okay because you didn't put enough paint down there. Now, I'm gonna try to disturb this area and mix it with this area, but just so lightly, because I just wanna take there, kind of see how we grab it just with one or two little swipes, pull it back there. Look at that little bit of brown shadowing inside the water now. Looks like the water's trying to overtake it and swallow that little rock. Woo! It's fantastic. Did somebody let Goofy out? Woo! That's falling down a well. Let's come over here. Let's cut into the rock, up into it, and then down into the bottom of the wave. Right? And that little bit of land. Now, as far as you want to take this guy, you can. You can pull it out, push it deep into the painting if you want, over to the side. Remember, we're going to have one more giant rock over here as well. So, just in the meantime, let's see if we can very lightly, just so lightly, take away some of that texture, just a little. Yeah, a little bit, just graze it a touch, right? Now, we're going to take that liquid white, titanium white mix that we have, I'll show you the liquid white again is very runny. Come on, there you go. See it dripping off? Your titanium white would never drip off the brush like that. So we mix the liquid white with 10% titanium white to whatever size pile you have. Okay, if you've got a big old pile, you're gonna need a lot of titanium white. You got a little pile, just need a little bit, just a little sliver of it. And we'll come out here. This paint is going to be more wet, and it's going to deposit and run like water much more easily than you might imagine it doing, right? So it'll go a little bit further, meaning you need less. And you can see again, we're working from a higher point to a lower point, meaning that everything's looking fantastic. You guys, come on over here, come on over there. It doesn't have to be a perfect straight line. Remember, it's the ocean we're painting. It's not a perfect thing. But look at the angles I was telling you about before, right? Angle of the wave has not changed one bit, right? We're on the same angles. This side is at the base of where our rock is back there, at the base of where our wave was back here behind it. And then, as it comes down and feeds in, it's all gonna help for your perspective, you guys, really. And then when we come out to do our next one, we're gonna start here, make a straight line all the way across, and then that's where our water line, the next guy's gonna come in, working down at that same angle. I'm telling you, this should be the best one you've ever done, as long as you can remember to tweak these things along the same way. Okay? We're going to take our liquid white, we're going to deposit it down in here pretty thickly. The liquid white, titanium white mix, same paint. Same paint. You can even start dragging it up, right? Filling it in, leaving in a little air, pushing hard to get it to deposit off of the blade. Right? We don't need it all to be the same. Stuff from up here can literally start floating down. It's all about those angles, right? If you're not working at those same angles, or the right angles anyway, it's just not going to work. And as you get in here, you're making more and more and more and more of a circle as it's rolling up inside of the wave. You can do it with your palette knife, you can do it with your fan brush, any sort of paintbrush you can do it, whichever one you're most comfortable with. I just find that the palette tool helps it fall off, break differently, and look more realistic as it's rolling up the side of our monstrous crashing wave. It's all about your angles too. And then remember, leave that little dark space down in here. Guys, seriously, you have to have some deep shadow where the light cannot reach. Don't cover everything out here either, because water is invisible, my friends. We're only painting the stuff that's floating on the top or reflecting down from our sky and catching light, So do not paint everything. And remember your angles most importantly, right? We're working here from a noon to 3 o'clock, maybe 3:15 as we get down there. Have you ever seen a clock? You guys that old? Are you as old as me? Can you read a clock that just has hands on it? When the big hand is pointing to the top, that means noon, 12, maybe midnight, depends on the time. And as we go over here to our 3 o'clock, noon to 3, right? Meaning all these guys are going very horizontally out. Horizontal, they're getting tighter, more, right? We're 2:30, 1:30 now, 1 o'clock. As we come in, it's getting closer and closer and closer to near vertical, but you have to take off on that runway first, right? Have you ever been on an airplane before? When you're on an airplane, you just rev the engines and then all of a sudden go just straight up into the... No, you take off down the runway and then you pitch and you go up that way, right? Am I making sense to you guys? Anyone out there getting it? Are you understanding what's happening? Thanks, Bobby. I appreciate it. Thank you, Mindy. Okay, you guys are understanding. Cool. Just want to make sure you guys are getting it. Did you know that you can actually purchase this painting right now before it's even done? Before we're even finished? It could be yours. You could get it before someone else does, because there's only one. And if you like it, this is literally how I make my living, is you guys grabbing these paintings during the live show. Man, that's cool. Flow up. I always want it to be brighter down here along the front, especially because this side is closest to us. That side's a little bit further away. Now, let's take our liquidy white brush and clean out this one fan brush right here. To load it full of our liquid white, not full, but put some of our liquid white in there and attach it to our palette tool. Right? It's very wet, this paint. Very wet in its consistency. Look at the difference. Right? It's like a shiny wetness of paint. It's foul. Look at that, all you guys over here on the book too. Just foul, right? So what we're gonna do is use that to our advantage. It's sprayfulness. We're gonna use to our advantage, right? We're gonna come over here, we're gonna turn the blade, we're gonna start just very lightly flicking little things onto it. Okay? The more that you flick with pressure, the more is gonna roll and fly out. It's gonna get onto our rock. It's gonna go up into the sky. We're gonna be everywhere. So the more you do, the more it's going to cover up your painted details, right? To where you have all these little sprays covering everything. It's just gorgeous. Gorgeous, you guys. Look at it. It's fantastic. Right? Fantastic. The difference between liquid white and titanium white, one is very liquidy, one is very hard and firm like titanium. Think about it that way. Think about it that way, guys. That's a very cool little bit of splash. Now, the more that you do, right, the more you're gonna cover up, more little sprays and stuff like that. It's gonna come down here, which is okay. We're gonna make this bottom section different anyway. It's how we like to do it. But be careful not to spray on too many is my point. You put on too many and you're not gonna like how it looks. I'm just telling you from experience, okay? A little bit more of our titanium white and our liquid white. Remember, liquid white 90%, titanium white 10%. That way it stays very runny, but it doesn't drip. Okay, we're gonna come over here and there's no, actually, ooh, I'm glad I didn't do that yet. I was looking at the canvas going, there's no paint down here. There's no color, there's no anything. So what we're gonna do first, since we should have done it prior when we had our blue down there, I can see the blue a little bit, but we need to make sure it's there. We're gonna take a little bit of our blue and let's pop it in right down here. Right up underneath our guy, right? You can brush out all these little sandy details, it's no big deal. Bang, a little bit of blue, and then underneath that blue, we're gonna go both of our brown colors. So the dark one, and then the light one, and then the dark one again, and then the light one again. We're gonna start pulling it from here. Now, if your canvas is black, you should not be able to see this dark paint very well, right? It should be pretty dark to your eye. It should still look black, and you shouldn't have anything really mixing with it or turning a different color or whatever, right? It should be pretty dark and transparent. That's how we want it to be, because we don't want to light up too much and cover up too much of our black canvas. That's why we made this canvas look like a half of Oreo, where not the whole thing was black and not the whole thing was white. Right? Now, there's only one way to mess this part up. Only one way. Does anybody know how to mess this up from right here, doing what we're doing? What's the only thing that I can do that's going to make my wave look like my wet, sandy, beachy area are the same thing? What's the one thing that we're not supposed to do right here? Can you see anything that I might be trying to leave undisturbed? More paint on your right-hand side. Remember, the right hand is closer than the left-hand side. Pull it down further, and then it gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller as it goes away. All right, very cool. Now, what have we done? What have we left in between? In between, you won't want to cross the line. That's a good idea. That's a good way to say it. So this painting is number 1,940. Can you imagine we painted 1,940 paintings? Like, that's a lot of paintings. We're almost at 2,000 paintings. We're almost at 1 million followers on Instagram. We're almost at, we're just past 700,000 on TikTok, which is insane. Literal insanity, right? Okay, we're gonna take our 2-inch brush like this. We're gonna come up underneath and push and pull. And then I'm gonna ask you guys, the more I do this, the more I'm gonna ask you, does this look like wet, sandy beach? Just tell me now, yes or no. Is that your wet, sandy, beachy area right there? Is that what you see, or do you see something else? Whatever you see, tell us. What do you think? What does it look like to you? Man, that's cool. Oh, that is so cool. Goodness gracious. Eh, not really. Okay, I feel you. I feel you. Looks like a waterfall. Looks like a cliff. Some people see waterfall. Check this out, though. If we took all these little vertical streaky poos and we turned them into horizontally streaky poos and left our little dark separation in between our wave and our water, our sand, right? Between our sand and our land, you know, those two same thing. You pull it sideways, doesn't that look more like that shiny-ish, wettish, sheeny part where the water just comes up, gets stuck for a second, and slides its way back? Okay, over here like this. The more we're gonna do this, the more we're gonna shrink down our little dark separator. We need him to be small. Right? We can't have it be too big out there. If it's too big, it's gonna look funky. So the more that you can skirt it down, as I like to call it, just getting it down, getting it down, getting it down, get down on it. Right? Just a little bit of that darkness underneath. The more thin you can make it, the more realistic it's gonna look. If you get rid of the whole thing, you're gonna be kind of mad at yourself if you get rid of that whole separation. So don't do that. Okay? A little bit right out there. Okay. Now let's throw in one more little line. We're gonna take our liquid white, and at this point it's like 98% liquid white to 2% titanium. It's basically pure liquid white. Let's come out here and again, let's work on those angles I was telling you about, okay? So let's see where our next line, where we should start. Do you have an idea? Where's your idea, right? Where should we start with our next line? Should we start it up here? Should we start it down there? Should we start it over here? Should we put it down here? Where is it gonna go on the left side of the canvas? It's a good question. How am I gonna know, Josh, where I should put my next little line? Well, should I show you my trick? Should I? Are you guys that into it? Do you wanna see it that much? Super beachy, I like that. I like it. At the point where the water is on the right side, is that what you said? Let me show you, okay? So let's decide. This guy back here, and the back of the wave, which remember, you can still see some of it back there, was right on the same line, and this kind of dipped down in front, right? So it's a little thing, just like we do our little wave right here, our little triangle, just like we do the birds, it comes down, it goes back up, meaning these two are on the same level. So if we drop down here, and we put this guy, and we make it straight across, our next one should start right there. And then once it starts, it's gonna go down at that same slight little angle, and that's gonna look like your water, right? So wherever your wave is, if you've been doing it correctly with your little triangle, and your triangle, and then, you know what I mean? This one is even a slight angle. This is a little bit more slight. And then we're here, and we're there, right? So I'm hoping, if I can explain it correctly, should hope that it makes sense to you guys. If we put this up here, again, right on the edge of where my water might have been, and then again, it's a very fine, very soft slope down. It's not a crazy slope down. It's not like just intensely just whoosh, down at a 45-degree angle. Very soft angle, and you can see with our knife, we're going back, and the thing is remaining flat on the top. We're not turning it. It's not upside down like this. It's using that flat edge and just getting a little lower and a little lower and a little lower and a little lower as you go, right? That's the sloppy version of it. But if you have enough paint onto the brush, get out there and you start pushing it and wiggling it and pushing harder and harder and harder. Now, these two are lined up, right? So, basically. Pretty much. You try getting it perfect. And then we're gonna take just a little bit. We're gonna have a big rock come down there anyway, so I wanna have a little touch of something back there, just something, and I'm gonna show you why we put it back there like that. All right, as we come out here, we got our brush. It doesn't have too much white paint on it. It's got some on there, but not too much. We're gonna drag back just the stuff that's out there on the front, right? The further back you drag it, the more shininess you're gonna have, the more little bits of sea foam and different things, and we're literally dragging it straight horizontally, right? Because we're going down at this angle does not mean that we need to drag it up at some crazy angle, right? It just needs to go straight across. And the more that you whip it out there, suck it back to the end of the beach back there. You can start changing angles when you want, right? If you come down here and you start changing and you start pushing a little bit more and more and more and more and more, but you better make sure they make sense. Don't be looking at me to go, oh, it didn't really work when I tried it. I told you to do it straight. I said do them straight across. Right, now here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take a little bit of that titanium white. We're gonna come back over here and we're gonna make a big X, right? Let's say we start over here. We're gonna go big old X shape. Kind of picking up from one place, putting it down in another place, come across and cut in front of him, making another little X. And if we've got enough paint, all the way down, all the way. Can you get enough paint on the blade? There. You come down. The more little things that you put in here and then break off of these little guys, right? Just to make it messy and odd and weird and different. The more little things, right? It's gonna make it look more realistic as you're going. You're deciding what you like it to be, how you want it to look, how many little places you wanna make go soft, How many want you, or do you want to keep them real, you know, firm and have all the details show? It's totally up to you guys what you want, but there should be something different out there, right? It should look odd. It should be weird, because cannot just be perfect. It can't. Right? What if we don't like that? Make like a big Z shape and just left it. What if we came over here and grabbed a bit of this guy and was just odd, and just wherever, and almost just shut your eyes and just do something. Just do something out there with it, okay? Now, let's come over here and grab up our dark paint again, which is our mixture of our blue, black, and crimson, and then our two brown colors, the Van Dyke brown and the dark Sienna brown, mixed all into this one intensely dark pile that we call Paint with Josh Black. It's a very brownish black color. We need to get taller than this guy out here, right? If we cannot get taller, yeah, perfect. If we can't get any bigger than this guy out here, it's just not gonna look like we're in the right place, right? We're not gonna have the right perspective. Now I need to add a little bit more splash onto him because we added some paint, so now we gotta add some splashiness to cover it. But if we don't get taller than that guy, we're gonna have an issue, right? So let's pull it down, scrape out a whole big section of darkness, come up here and just make it weird and odd and just humongous. And we know we're gonna have to cut down in front of our guy back there, right? So it's gotta get sharp, it's gotta get big, it's gotta come down, maybe it comes down and ends up inside here. And all we're doing is filling in the back section with our dark paint, right? It's gonna make everything else look further away into the distance. We need that dark, thick paint up there though, so we can have a place to grab with our highlights. If we don't have enough paint up there, we won't have anything to touch with our highlights. So be mindful, right? Leave some stuff, make it weird, and then we'll come back with our lighter color. Let's start depositing it, letting it break off, right, very lightly, because it's got that dark, thicker stuff underneath to grab it. If there's nothing underneath to grab, then it physically can't fall off that way, right? You have to have the darker paints there in order for it to work, okay? Now, in order to make that color, we took a little bit of our yellow ochre and our lighter color brown, and we mixed it up good. Mixed it up nice and good like. There we go. You want it to almost be brighter than you think, because when you're coming down, mixing in, the more you go over these little things, the more it starts to change, right? The more it starts to dull itself down. So you want to come out here, slide down across all that darkness, revealing a new little section of rock. And always remember, these rock and these colors are going to dry a little bit more dull than they look right now, right? So whatever it looks like now, that's why I always say paint them a little bit brighter than you think, because you never know. You never know how it's going to dry when it starts to get a little dull, and you don't want it to get too dull and crazy. We add that same texture just with our darker paint off the back, just helping it look like and feel like a rock by the time that you go and whoever grabs this one, all right, by the time they go and touch that thing and feel that rock, oh my goodness, they'll be like, dang, this thing is textured. How much paint is on that guy? Oh, I love it though. He's wicked. See that? See how wicked cool it is? Remember, guys, this is the very first painting you're going to see if you go to paintwithjosh.com. It's the #1 thing right there on the homepage. You just got to be the first one over there and grab it, right? This is what we do for a living. So if nobody goes over there and gets it, woo, it's going to be a bad night for old Joshy Poo. Just an old bad night. There we go. Okay. Dropping on little bits, little things, little bits of whatever. Just kind of cleaning up the edges of our rock, doing whatever we want to do. All up to us, every time, right? Now, let's get over here. We'll finish off the sand by taking a little touch of our liquid white again, right? Since we're already on a dark canvas that already has brown down in it. Why don't we take a little bit of our liquid white? Maybe throw 1 or 2 little splashes onto that guy, just a little, right? Maybe it might not hit him all the way, but you might get a couple. And then we'll come down here and just start flicking out into the sand, right? And your little watery area, that's okay. The more that you do, the more it's gonna look like sand across that little dark area. Oh man, look at that. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that quite literally amazing? I need a title for this painting, you guys. So if you can help me and just give me a title, right? What do you think this one might be called? it's really going to help me out as far as naming it. Now, if you purchase it during the live show, right here and right now, and it becomes yours, then you get to pick the title, right? You get to come back in and tell us what the title's going to be. But you're the one that has to grab it during the show. So if it doesn't get purchased during the show, which is okay, can't sell every painting during a live show, then we need to name it as a group, right? It still needs a name, whether or not it finds a home or not, it needs a name. So we're gonna name it as a group. You guys come and title it together. We're watching on all 3 different platforms. So if you're on the FB or the YT or the TT, the TikTok, right? I need a title. Hit me with a title. What do you think? Right? Give me something to work with a little title, guys. I need your help. Help me help you. There, right? How many little bits do you want to have? How many little things are sliding back from your little beachy area? Totally up to you guys, right? That's the whole best part about it. Sometimes leaving this enormous space where you can play with tons and tons of little details. Woo! Doggy, I like it. Okay, so we're gonna throw the signature in, and then I need to have a title from you guys. So if you can start typing it out in the comments right now, being like, okay, this is what I would call it. Then give me that title right now. What would you think? You tell me across all platforms. We're gonna be looking for a title. Right, remember, if you purchase it, then you get to be the one that names it for goodsies. But if not, then we gotta come back in and name it as a group. So, almost forgot that. You gotta throw the old birds back in. There we go. Now, whether or not you like the birds, they stand for myself, my ex-wife London, and our daughter. They go into every single painting that will ever be from the Paint with Josh experience. So I hope you like them. And I hope and I encourage you guys to use them as your family of birds too. You got you and your husband and your 2 kids, add 2 more birds in there. Your little flock flying through every painting. It's so cute. It's just cute, guys. It's just so meaningful as well. So, you guys come up with a title. I'm going to be right there looking at the comments, literally right in like 5 seconds. I'll be there. I'm going to be looking. So what do you got for a title? Let's see. Let's see. This one's so, hey-oh, sugar. Hey now. Boom. Oh, I love that sound. Just the best sound ever. Who got this one? That's my question. I'm going to have to go double check and look at one of the devices. I guess we'll have to end one of the streams in order to go look at the device. Man, that's fantastic. I love it. The angles, the slide coming down over here, the backwater, the faraway little back things, which we really only needed to paint that one because every other one got covered up. You know what I mean? But you never know until you get out there and do it. If we hadn't have painted those little faraway mountains across the whole thing, then I guarantee one of them would have shown and been like, had been out of place, right? So it's all about sometimes doing it in case you use it or not doing it and then purposely covering it up. Okay, got 2 more brushes to clean, guys. So we're gonna need a title, hopefully from our purchaser, which we're gonna have to figure out who that is. Who it is. Okay. Yes! Man, that looks cool. I like it. Boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. Thanks, Mindy, for being on YouTube and on TikTok. You're awesome. Jade Gem. That's a cool title. Jade Gem. Right, Castaway. That's wicked, too. Anybody gonna claim this one? Rockin' Wave. I like it. Crash Cove. That's a cool title. Look at the almost like you could get in between these 2 rocks right there. And it's only because you have your light, dark, light, right? The light is in the dark, which forces your mind to push it into the back. Almost like you could skirt around there and find some buried pirate treasure or something. Something. So, in any case, this one came out amazing. I'm going to end the Facebook and the TikTok stream. The Facebook and the YouTube stream like we always do. And then I'll be able to check my device and see who actually got this one. And then we'll do the spin on the wheel, and then we'll be all ready to go. So, in any case, I love you guys. You've been watching over on Facebook. You're amazing. I love you all. I can't wait to see your version of this painting. Send it to me right on Facebook or post it in any one of my comment sections on any of my posts or reels or pictures or whatever. I want you to post your version in my comments. It's really the only way I'm going to see it, unless you message it to me directly, and some of the times they don't come through if we're not already friends or whatever. So just drop it in the comments, and you guys have been amazing. So I love you guys over on Facebook and on YouTube. You guys are amazing. Did I touch? I did. I touched it with my shoulder right there, but you can't even see it. Actually made it look better. Josh, how many times can you ruin a shirt? And then I'll go rub it on my face later. It's just gonna happen. It's gonna happen if I don't take care of it now. So I'm gonna end the stream over there. I hope you guys are awesome. And if you are the purchaser and you're watching over on YouTube or whatever, send me an email and I'll do a spin for you, and then we'll get you your free gift. But in order to check to see who it has got it, I need to have one of my phones and devices. So everybody over on YouTube and on Facebook, I love you guys. And until I see you guys again next time, take care. Have the rest of a good day, and bye. Bye. My goodness. That is looking cool, guys. I love it. I love it.